What do your Etsy ad stats mean? If you have switched on Etsy advertising and you aren't looking at your Etsy ad stats, then you are missing out big time. I know so many of us switch on our adverts and we think it should just be pay money, get sales. But if you're doing that, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. Not even leaving money on the table. You are costing yourself a lot of money and not getting any results. The secret in any kind of advertising is to keep on tweaking and improving your campaign. And with Etsy ads, we don't know how to do that if we don't have some stats to look at, if we're not digging into what our stats mean. So today I'm going to dive in and show you where you can find your stats and what they mean. We'll do the Etsy Offsite Ads and start with Etsy ads, which is the old promoted listings. Have a look at all of that, and probably in the new year now, we will do another video digging into how to use those stats to optimize your shop for the next year. So if that's something you're going to be interested in, obviously you're going to want to hit subscribe. But let's dive into these, firstly starting with our ad stats, formerly promoted listings, and then we'll dig in and have a look at everything. So there's a couple of ways you can get to your Etsy ad stats. One that people use a lot, if you click stats from your Etsy shop dashboard, and when you scroll down here, it says Etsy ads, and you can look at this and it tells you how many views you've had from ads. If you click this here, it'll take you directly to your advertising dashboard, which has a lot of details in it. But there's also an extra little secret thing. You want to see your day-to-day graphs and everything. You want to try and maybe pick different time frames just quickly. If you click on something else on that little chart I just showed, so Etsy search, then there we go. You do have advertising, which is Etsy ads. So you can click on this and you get some little quick details here. So that's selected for this year. No idea why I've picked such a large time scale, but hey, that's pretty cool anyway. So you can look at your advertising for the year. It was 9% of all visits I had. And you can see a little graph how I'm getting more visits over time, which is kind of good because I don't think I've changed anything to do with my budget. And for the year, I can also see how many visits, how many clicks I got for all my ads, which is handy to see, and because the clicks are the things that's costing you on Etsy ads, so you can see which listing was costing you the most for the time period you picked. Obviously, traffic sources for Etsy ads should 100% be coming from Etsy. If they're not, I'd be a bit worried. And a little bit, this is handy, of the search terms that people are searching for, that when they see your ad, they click on your ad. You can see there's an absolute metric ton of them, but that's kind of handy. So if you'd have clicked from the stats, if you'd clicked directly onto Etsy ads, you get to the Etsy ads dashboard. The other place you can get to it is marketing Etsy ads. Now, so again, we can use this drop down and pick different time frames if you want. Always pick a large enough time frame. And here is your data. Now, views are different here, so this might seem a little bit confusing. Straight away, views mean how many times when someone searched for keyword, well, not even searched for keywords, how many times on Etsy was a buyer shown any of your adverts. This doesn't mean they clicked on them, it just shows they were shown them. And then clicks means they clicked on them. Clicks is an actual visit to your listing from that ad. So you can see how people, a kind of click-through rate by dividing the clicks by the views. And it does seem that currently, for a high number of views, I'm getting a fairly low number of clicks. Now, this could mean that Etsy Etsy's showing ads in lots of different places. I'm not entirely sure how much of the ad even the buyer has to be able to see before that counts as a view. It could just be a little bit at the bottom of the page. But Etsy is experimenting with showing ads in lots of different places. So you might find that conversion's very different, but we will check if you're being shown for listings that are just not doing very well, or for keywords that are just not relevant, then we might be able to remove them. But at the same time, the number of times we're shown doesn't cost you anything. It's only if people go ahead and click that costs you any money. So the clicks is the important number, and then you can see a conversion rate. So one order from 240 clicks, again, that is lower than my regular conversion. So either Etsy is showing me in really irrelevant places, or my listings are just not doing well when they're shown. And especially I want to have as high converting as possible, because the clicks are costing me. But also we can see for the number of clicks, what is the spend? How much has it cost me to get those 240 clicks? Divide one by the other and you can find out the cost, the spend, divide per cost per click is spend divided by clicks. Per just means divided by, if you didn't know, roughly. And then you can see the revenue, so I can find out how much I'm getting. So far I spent nearly $60 and got nearly $25 back. So I lost a fair bit of money this month. So my ads are not doing great. You have this little graphic here to hide, little button to hide the graph if you want to, but I like graphs. I like to see. And remember, so I can see the views, how that's varying every day. And the reason you'll find that is you have a set budget. I've set to $2 a day. So Etsy will show your listing until you've used up your budget. So as soon as I've spent all my $2, then it's going to stop showing me. I wonder if it shows me today. Are we going to? No, it's not giving enough details. Sometimes you used to be able to see views, and then nothing as you'd been switched off as you'd spent your money. But let's go back to 30 days. Give us the graph back. You can look at the clicks and see those are a little more stable, because Etsy decides how much it's charging you for every click. Excuse me. Whoa. Because Etsy sets that out, it's not exactly set in stone. Your cost per click is based on how competitive the keyword is, how much money you're likely to make out of that keyword and stuff. So Etsy has a whole algorithm, thank you, for what it's going to charge you. But it's roughly, I'm getting about 8 to 10 clicks per $2. That's a lot. You can look and see, oh, look, my one sale from ads was on the 19th of November. That's terrible. And obviously that's the only time I made any money as well. And the spend they're taking exactly $2 a day. So I can look and see, yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon UK time. So I think that is about 9, or it's about 10 in the morning US time. So by 10 a.m. my budget is almost all spent. So that's an interesting thing to know. So I'm advertising 19 of my listings for $2 a day. So you can change your budget. Now we'll come back to this. Manage advertised listings is a very important thing here. But we can look at the orders, because I had one whole order in this past month. It is kind of interesting to see this. So the advertised listing this is the list. This is your ad that was seen on Etsy. So this is what brought the person to click and go to your shop. And it tells you the exact time they clicked. It was via search, because they can see it in other places. There might be ads on the homepage. There might be ads on other people's listings. Etsy can put ads wherever it likes, pretty much. But it was someone had searched for something that brought up my listing there. So that's good to know. You can see the date and the time. Now, this is interesting, the click date and the order date. So if we look, the click date is the same. They clicked on the 19th of November, but they were at 9:30 in the morning when they clicked, and they didn't buy till 1:30. So this person either went away or a whole number of things. They might have clicked on this and been looking at other things. They might have saved it, came back to my shop, or what could have happened is because they'd clicked on this and Etsy saw they kind of liked my shop, even if they hadn't done any other interacting with it, it's possible that on their homepage, when a few hours later they'd opened Etsy wanted to show them some more items by my shop. Or perhaps when they searched, Etsy was more likely to show them items, or they might have clicked from this into my shop, found the cat bookmark, saved it, and then asked somebody else what they thought. But they didn't buy immediately. They went away and came back. And this is a thing you could find, that the date they clicked and the date they purchased is completely different. Because what Etsy considers, I think it's 30 days for Etsy ads as well. If they click on one of your listings and then come back and buy something at a later date, Etsy figures that they found your shop through the ads. Yes, it does say 30 days here. I thought I was making that up. So they figure they found your shop because of the ads, and you get charged. And not only that, if they bought that on the 19th and they came back 2 days later and bought something else, and they came back 5 days later and bought something else, they're all attributed to you. In Etsy ads, that's not a huge deal because I was only charged for that one click. Everything else they do in my shop, just as long as they don't click on another ad, if they organically come to my shop, then I don't get charged anything else. So it's all good, but they let you know that this person here who found this came back at a later date and they purchased a different listing. So this is cool data if you've got a lot of sales. If I picked a bigger time period, you would see. But if you've got a lot of sales, you might see, hey, when people are looking for this, they maybe come back and buy a totally different item. This bookmark's slightly more expensive than that one, so that's good. That's like an upsell. And for me, the Etsy ads cost per click is slightly based on the price that your item can sell for. So I might be getting slightly lower cost per click on this bookmark than I do if this bookmark had been advertised. So that might be an interesting cunning plan. The other way around is if people were clicking on your more expensive items and then purchasing something cheaper, that might tell you some ideas about what customers think, what they're looking for. Maybe they are looking for cheaper items, and it might be costing you a lot to advertise your most expensive item. So you might want to turn that off and advertise some cheaper items. It might not work like that. Always be experimenting. But anyway, that's what these are. So that's the listing that was advertised. That's when it was clicked. That's what the person actually bought, when they bought it, and how much they paid for it. Now, this button here, I spoke about this before. Tell us about your ad goals. This is just a survey by Etsy. It wants to know why people are using ads. This will not change how your ads perform. I know a lot of people think it does. It is just a survey. It's just Etsy finding out things. So don't read too much into that. You can fill it in if you want, but it won't make any difference to your ads. Got FAQs here, and you can pause your Etsy ads here. Now, I'm happy about this. In the past, it used to be actually you'd have to dig into a few menus to switch off your Etsy ads. So at least now they're at the bottom of the first page. That's good to know. Now, the button, if this is as far as you've ever looked, you are missing out. What you need to do is click on this Manage Advertised Listings button. This shows you all your listings, and at the top it shows you the ones that you are advertising. And you can see, so here is the listing. This is the number of views. This is the number of times your listing has been shown, your advert has been shown to people. This is the clicks, and this is good. It gives you the click-through rate. So you can look and see which of your listings have a high click-through rate? So this one's actually not too bad compared to the others. You're looking at comparatively. So like this listing has less than half of the click-through rate of this listing. So this means for every time it's seen in search or anywhere on Etsy, every time it's seen, it's more than twice as likely to get clicked on. So that's hopefully a good thing that's likely to get more sales. So that's good to know. This listing, interestingly enough, has a fairly low click-through rate. So I might want to be thinking, why? Is it being shown in the wrong places? Is the picture quality not great? Is it not what people are looking for? So I love that. Orders are, as it said, the number of times your listing has sold. Revenue is, of course, how much it's made when it's sold. Spend is how much you've spent. ROAS is return on ad spend. So we look down here. So this listing, I spent nearly $5 on it and it made me nearly $25. So my return on ad spend was 5.25, which roughly says for every dollar in ads that I've spent on this, I got $5 back. So that you want that in the positive and as high as possible. So that's good. But for just 18 clicks, there's not enough data there for me to read anything into this. I need a bigger period of time. I would have probably needed to push my ads up a bit. Filters are handy here. You can filter by certain sections in your shop if you want, and date range, so that is handy. And listing status, obviously you can look at sold out and advertised listings, not advertised, sold out, or active listings. At the minute, I'm just wanting to look at active listings because everything is still active because it's Christmassy time, but you might want to see your sold out listings. If you have one of a kind things, get the data there. Now you can click on these to rank them by, list them by the ones that's got the most clicks, or we can rank them by the ones that have the highest click rate, except that isn't, because that didn't work. Etsy, what are you playing at? I don't know what, because it should have had the Samoyed first, because it had a 2.3 click-through rate. So that's not working properly. Etsy, fix your system. But anyway, so you can order them. I want to see what's the one that has the best return on ad spend. Well, it's only going to be one because we've only had one make any sales. But you can order them like that, and you can switch your ads on or off there. You will. Active listings, we're also seeing my listings that aren't being advertised. So you can check and see if there's any you didn't like, if any of them were costing you a great amount of money and not getting any sales. So this little guy here, although it's got a good click-through rate, it's not got any orders. It's cost me nearly half my budget. I'd maybe want to turn that off. But let's check the search terms. This is my favorite little button. I hope there's enough data for this. Unfortunately, now this really annoys me. It is only showing you the data for the last 7 days. We can't look at a greater period of time. So if you're really wanting to optimize your keywords, well, if you really want to optimize your ads, you're going to have to come in maybe once a week and check this out if you're really keeping an eye on your ads, especially if you've got a super high budget. And for every listing, this could get a bit much. It would be nice if we could do a bigger period of time. So this is telling us the keyword that buyers physically searched for, Samoyed. This is a Samoyed dog. Samoyed, I suppose, is Samoyed in a different language. I don't know. So it's saying, why was my ad shown for that word? Because I have the word Samoyed in the title, and I got 17 clicks for that. Now, it's possible if I looked that up and I found out that Samoy wasn't related to the dog, then I can actually click on this to turn this off, to say this keyword is irrelevant. Now, whether this actually switches it off, it says, if a keyword seems irrelevant, just turn it off. This is a test for now, but your feedback will help us improve Etsy ads. So I don't know whether it's physically turning this keyword off so you won't turn up in the search for it, or if it's just saying to Etsy, hang on, you've messed up. But it's certainly worth it. If I found that wasn't relevant, I could switch it off. Let's see if there is an irrelevant one here. Anyway, felt dog ornament. So again, it's because in the title I have the word dog, and dog, felt dog, samoyed ornament. So that's relevant. That's why it's got 10 views. Labrador samoyed ornament. These all look, wow, well, they all look pretty relevant keywords. That's good. And you can do this, just check through with all of your listings now. I want to find a certain thing. Let's see if any of them have this. Not right. Let's try my good listing. It's not had any sales yet because I just switched it on, but hopefully this will have something. Yes, perfect. So you also get, now we'll start with this. If Etsy says this, it says this is a high click-through rate for the bookmark. What it's telling me is, unusually compared to the other keywords, when that listing is seen for the word bookmark, people are highly likely to click on it. Now, this is really interesting. This is saying, at the very least, my listing is catching people's eye. There might be a reason why they're not buying it at the minute in time. It could be the time it's going to take to ship, because we're getting a bit close to me not being able to get it to them in time for Christmas. So that would make sense. But this is telling me this is a very relevant keyword for me because people are clicking on it highly. I have seen in the past when I've had more sales from ads, you could even get a high sale rate here. So it's a good converting keyword. So this would be a keyword you would write down. You would say, this is a real superstar keyword. I might want to make some more listings based around this kind of term. I might really want to double down on this keyword. This is a good one. For me, high click rates, if I couldn't think of a reason why it wasn't getting sales, now this listing is getting a lot of sales, it's just not from ads, but if I couldn't think of a reason why it wasn't getting sales, then I might want to turn off the keyword because it's costing me money and not getting sales. If it's a real high number, if it's just like 20 or something, then you don't have enough data. But it's handy to see that. It's always fun to see. I assume that's a bookmark or a chain. It's something to do with dog. So I assume it's relevant. But you're always looking through what's not a good keyword, or why do I have gift for dad in my tags? That's interesting. But gifts for dad, if I hadn't thought of this, it might give me ideas for other keywords. Yeah, when people are searching for unique, I don't have a tag that says unique anywhere. Now, if I thought this was a good keyword, this might tell me, hey, maybe if I throw unique somewhere into my tags, I might get seen more for that. And here's an excellent, right? My listing is oversized paperclip corgi butt bookmark, and people are searching for a corgi butt magnetic bookmark. This is not what my listing is. So to me, that's not relevant. If somebody specifically wanted magnetic, they don't want my listing. So just turning that off, and you can see Etsy just says, thanks for sharing your feedback. I don't know if they're actually switching that off or we're just telling them, hey, that's a bit not relevant. Anyway, so that is the Etsy ads. So you can find the keywords that people are actually searching for. You can see what has a high click-through rate, what is costing you lots of money. So it's really important to dig into this. When this Christmas season has ended, I will dig through my strategy for how I'm going to use all this data, but hopefully that's a little bit of a help. And let us have a look. I'm looking in the wrong place now, am I? So anyway, if we go to the dashboard again, if you want to see about your offsite ads, now anybody who has made more than $15,000 in sales in 1 year, I think it's that much, or who hasn't switched them off, will have offsite ads on. So you can get to them hitting your stats button again. And if you scroll down, see traffic and sales driven from offsite ads, click on offsite ads. So it tells you now with offsite ads, you don't get charged if someone just clicks on your ad. You only get charged if they actually place an order. Now, Etsy Etsy is paying for this. Google, all the other places it's getting advertised in, charge per click, but Etsy only passes on a set 15% or 12% fee to us if we actually make a sale. So it's kind of a good deal. Let's see, last year I didn't make sales, so yeah, here we go. We had 12 orders last year, so I actually have some data to show you. So what you're seeing here, last year I made £600 in sales, and I'm on the 15%, so I paid $91 in offsite ads. So be aware, if offsite ads are turned on, you will be charged the 15 or 12% for them, but they're not gonna. You don't get charged if you don't get seen for them, if you don't make a sale for them. So, and this is the same when somebody looks at your listing. If they click through and then they come back at any time in the month, you're going to get charged that, let's just call it 15%. You're going to get charged that 15%. If they come back 6 or 7 times in the month, you're going to get charged for every sale you make up to a certain amount. But this could really add up. So be aware of this in your pricing strategy, or if you can't cope with it and you're able to, you can turn it off. But it's the same again. What item was advertised? It was this one. When was it clicked, the date and the time, and it was shown in Google. I've only ever really been seen through Google ads. The Etsy is paying for ads in lots of other places as well, but I've only ever seen Google. And then what did they buy? Again, it doesn't have to be the same item. And the date and time, well, they clicked and 9 minutes later they purchased it. So they pretty much went straight through. So that's good to know. Even that's a good bit of data saying, if someone's clicking through from an ad, are they wandering about my shop looking at different things? Are they coming back several times over the weeks, or are they just buying? And yeah, this time they just purchased. This is an interesting one, clearly. I didn't even notice this before. So they purchased this, but obviously it was the order couldn't go ahead and I refunded it. So I got my ad fee refunded. We see here again, purchased by Google. It's the same listing. Yep, it's the same listing. They saw it, they purchased it. Here's one. There we go. They looked at this listing and they took 16 minutes clicking about my shop and they decided they wanted to buy 2. So I got a nice upsell. Is it so nice? Because it charged me double the price for what it would have been if they'd have just bought 1. But hey, I made 100 quid. So from ads that I wouldn't have had otherwise. I don't think there's anything not by Google. And here's another one that was a nice upsell. So they saw this in the adverts and they purchased a much bigger item. So this could give me ideas to say, okay, people might be looking for bigger things. So in this listing, I could either make variations that they could buy a bigger one, or I could link to my larger sculpture. Handy to know, not just for people who are coming through with adverts, but yes, it was all Google. Sadly enough, that's about all the data you get there. You can turn them on and off, but we don't know about the click-through rate. We don't have any of the special details. You can, if we go to stats again, your Etsy ads, the views you're going to get are going to be under Etsy marketing and SEO. Now, this doesn't just tell you Etsy ads, it also is telling you people who have found you if you optimize for Google and you're getting seen in Google search or anything in search engines. But you can see again which are your most visited listings. So you do get an idea of views here. Which is handy, and where they're coming from. It's almost all Google with me. And the search terms, not everywhere people are finding you are they going to see search. They're going to be searching. They could be finding you in lots of other places. But yeah, that's not helpful at all in my case. But you get a little bit more data, but it's not a whole lot of data. But that's what we've got. Anyway, let me know in the comments. Are you using ads? Are you finding them useful? Which type of ads are you using? And do you use the data? Do you want to know more about how you can use the data? Because it is fun. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.